Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I figured we would go through some of my favorite art supplies. I am an oil painter if you're new here. I paint a lot of landscapes as well as florals, and I have been painting for 8 years now, so I have collected a lot of art supplies. So I figured I'd do a quick little roundup of some of my favorite supplies, and I will have everything linked down below. Some of the links are affiliate links. When you purchase from one of those links, you are helping support the channel and we really appreciate it. So let's jump into the video. So the first thing that I want to talk about is the easel. I got this off of Amazon. I've had it for 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. I love it. It was a little bit pricey, but it has stood the test of time. It has wheels on the bottom. You can move it around. You can easily adjust where your canvas is. There's another knob up here so you can hold the canvas down. And it's just overall very sturdy. It has a little brush holder here. So I would highly recommend. It is worth the investment. Next up, we'll go into paints. So like I said, I am an oil painter. My favorite brand to use is the Winsor & Newton Winton brand. These are what I started using and I've just stuck with them. For majority of my colors, I just stick to the smaller tubes. But for colors that I use a lot, especially white, I get the larger one. So I have white, green, a cobalt blue, and burnt sienna in the larger tubes. These last for a long time. If you're working larger, then I would recommend going with a larger tube just because you are using more paint. But if you're just starting out, or you're working smaller, these tubes work great. I've had permanent rows here for a really long time and still have a lot to paint to go. This is also a color that I like using for my underpaintings. I don't always use this one. I switch between this and burnt sienna, but I really like the glow underneath that this one brings out. So if you were looking for a underpainting color, permanent rose is your gal. I have used Gamblin as well, and I have no complaints. I think they're comparable. These are the only two that I have tried from the brand. Next up, especially if you're an oil painter, you will need solvent to clean your brushes. I prefer the Gamsol. It's odorless, mineral spirits, cleans the brushes really great. It's still, I mean, odorless is still gonna have just a slight smell to it, but it's great. And I just pour it into a brush tank, and this helps clean your brushes. So it has, you can't see it because it's all dirty paint, but it has like the grate towards the bottom so that you can scrub your brushes and get all that oil paint out. I prefer using is the Galkin. I just started using this. I used to use Liquid from Winsor & Newton, and I think the two mediums are very comparable. They basically just thin out your paint so that your oil paint dries a little bit quicker. I do feel like my paint dries a little bit faster with this than the Liquid. This consistency is just a little bit more watery than the Liquid, but overall I really like it. I decided to switch to Gamblin because of the packaging. So Liquid, because it is that little bit of a, like, it's not a jelly consistency, but it is a little bit thicker it would get stuck on the cap and then I would not be able to get the cap off. So I got tired of fighting with this cap and decided to try out this brand. It does have a child lock on it, so you have to push down while you turn, so it's still not the easiest. But once you get through that child lock, the lid comes right off, and I haven't had any issues with it sticking. But like I said, you just have to get through the child lock. So yes, highly recommend. I also recently purchased Gambar Gloss, which is just a varnish, and it is also from Gamblin. And this is just like the finished layer that you put on your painting, and it helps just even out everything. It gives it a nice shine. So again, would recommend. I'm not positive if Winsor & Newton has something similar to this. Before using this, I would just take and mix a little bit of mineral spirits and a little bit of liquid and apply that to my painting. But you do need to be careful not to like scrub your painting because you're putting mineral spirits in it, so it will wipe away. If you saw me complete this painting here, then you would know that I started using palette knives. I have been loving the Luna set from Blick. I also have the Opera set, and that is a gold finish. It's a really great set as well. I just have these ones still out. These are a matte silver. And I like the gray color on these because when you're mixing your colors, you can tell kind of the value of it. Is it too dark? Is it too light? Is it more of a medium value? So these are, which they look a little dark on camera, but it's like a mid-tone, leans a little bit on the darker side. But that helps with mixing your paint. Also, the handles are lightweight, but they still feel like good quality. And they have little holes here on the top, so if you have all your supplies like hanging, you can just clip this right on. Brushes. I have been loving the Master Touch series of paintbrushes. They are a lighter color, so they do stain, as you can see. But I like the thickness of them. The handles are great. I haven't had any shedding. And they've just been, I like the really long handles. So if you are wanting to paint looser, I recommend getting a longer handle. That way you can hold the brush back here and paint rather than painting like this, because the farther back you are, the looser your strokes tend to be. So I currently have a size 16, 12, and 14. I work in a variety of sizes, but my goal for this year has been to work a little bit larger, which this isn't like the largest size, but we're getting larger. So these brushes came in handy, especially starting the painting out. And then I went in with the palette knives and added in some texture. The last supply that I'm going to talk about is canvas. I have been getting the Blick Premier Stretch Canvas, and I love these. They come nice and tight. I haven't had to tighten them on my own. If you do have a canvas that's loose, you can apply hot water to the back of it, and that will help shrink the canvas some. And then also apply another layer of gesso, and that helps as well. But I have not had any problems with these. The paint applies really great. This is the traditional profile, so it's 7/8 on the side. And this is what the back looks like. And I like how the framing is done on the back, so you don't have the raw canvas just hanging. It makes applying the hangers really easy since you just have the raw wood here on the back. I have also purchased the academic set of canvas from Blick as well, and they do have the raw canvas on the back, but I like how they still have a little bit of wood here on the side, so the back still looks nice and clean. So that is a little rundown of all my favorite supplies. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. If you are a beginner oil painter, those supplies are kind of the basics that you need to get started. There's a few things that you can do without, but those are all supplies that I have been putting to the test and can say that they're really great. So I would love to know your favorite product. Leave it down below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!